Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for the 6th of November. All right, now just having a look at the majors here now. I just reconfigured my charts to make it a little bit easier to see the correlations and see exactly what's going on. And it's actually quite interesting because today, this top line, Euro, Sterling, Aussie, and Kiwi, these four currency pairs generally correlate the same direction. And the bottom ones usually should go in the opposite direction, okay, because that's the way the US dollar is quoted against those pairs. So if the top ones are going up, the bottom ones should be going down, and that's a good way to check your overall analysis. Now, we've got a very interesting situation at the moment, and just have a look at this. Like the Euro, well, it's slowly going up. Sterling slowly going up. Aussie slowly going up. Kiwi sort of slowly going up. We've got dollar yen, well, slowly going up. Euro sideways, but not going far. And sterling a little bit up. The dollar index down, right? So work this out. They all can't be going up. I mean, I have been a little bit liberal there with some of them just trading sideways, but they're not coming off, and that is a sign of a major geopolitical situation. So these currency pairs at the moment are not sort of aligned properly. And you can't see exactly what's going on. I know on the dollar index, right? Yeah, the dollar is just dribbling off. But these other currencies, the euro and sterling, sterling's slowly up, but it's not like it's really going anywhere. And we know with this geopolitical situation, that could change any minute. So it's a little bit of a tricky situation at the moment. And if I just bring you over to the US dollar sort of page and just see what's going on with the US dollar and the dollar yuan. Now, you just notice my news page is just trying to find the feed there. Equity markets in the States, slightly up, bit mixed. Japanese equities are, at the moment, up 1%. Now, the dollar index, on the big scale of things, it is trading sideways. Now, dollar yuan, I think that the People's Bank of China have done a good job here. They've really smashed the market from 6.98 down to 6.85. It's now sort of sitting back in the middle, but it's made everyone, all the speculators, a bit more wary about getting in. So the US dollar there, I still think it shoots to the top side, but it's pretty hard to be trading that at the moment. It could go either way. And the one of the major things that's going around at the moment, if I just quickly just give you a look at the news, now the media's trying to drum up some stuff, like US-China mistrust heightens armed conflict. Apparently a couple of boats out in the South China Sea almost collided, which is, that could have been 5 miles apart. The media will not generally report the truth. But what's having a big impact is the US midterm elections. Now, I actually saw this ad. There was some racist Trump ad pulled from there. It was actually quite funny, but he is focusing on immigrants coming in, crime, and trying to get that middle America to back in there and vote for the Republicans. So it's going to be very interesting. So if the Democrats dominate power and the Senate and Congress, well, then basically they're going to stop Trump doing a lot of his stuff, all of his stuff. So it's very important to see what happens for the US dollar as far as fiscal policy goes with these midterm elections. And that's probably why the US dollar is dancing around like it is. Up here on the major news, dollar dips ahead of midterm elections, pushes euro up. Well, we've just seen the euro chart. It's hardly higher. I wouldn't be getting too excited. Brexit obviously still impacting sterling, and then they're sort of putting down the US midterms, sort of, one of the key impacts for all the other major pairs. But now let me just give you a bit of a look here. What's going on now? We don't have a lot to focus on today, so if I just come back to the MyFX Trading Hub, the key part here is just focusing on the major event coming out today. There's only one pretty much across all time zones. That's the Aussie RBA interest rate decision. Now that's and the RBA has been quite neutral. And I've also, just before I go back to that major page and give you a bit of a run through, just having a look at the major currency pair outlook. Okay, I've just done a bit of tuning up here. So you can see where the general outlook is. For me, still euro bearish. Sterling, geopolitics making it way too hard to sort of get in there with any sort of level of risk control. Dollar Swiss, dollar yen, and obviously the dollar index as well. I think these, the dollar fundamentally is going up. Okay, strong economics, hawkish Fed. What we do have is a Trump. Okay, and that's a geopolitical sort of nightmare. It is sort of slowing the US dollar down somewhat. As much as the sterling rally on Brexit, positive Brexit, is putting downward pressure on the US dollar, it's probably just stopping it from going up, but it's not US dollar weakness. Now, if I just come back over here, let's just have a look at the Aussie dollar. Now, this is the only major fundamental release coming out today. And I have tuned up the analysis summary pages. All right, so obviously we've got two currencies here, Aussie and the US dollar. Aussie fundamentals, sideways. The RBA sitting pat. Data's been pretty up and down, pretty neutral. US dollar fundamentals, well, they're strong. Okay, so that should be the Aussie goes down. But at the moment, the technicals are going up, right? And that's because of the pretty much, I think, more so to do with sort of the risk on, risk off situation, which is risk on at the moment, and the positive move in the yuan. So that's a bit of a clash here between the current technicals and the US fundamentals, and that's why I've got the Aussie going sideways. Now, as far as the RBA are concerned, if you followed the major data releases through the month, everything's there's nothing for them to do. I mean, the sentiment here, as far as inflation, is pretty neutral. So there is no way that the RBA are going to do anything. And I actually think their statement will actually be very neutral as well. And this is probably a good thing for those traders in Australia with the Melbourne Cup race day on. All right. So so coming back and having a look here across the board, if you click on those flags, you will go to the detailed analysis. And as I mentioned, I have tuned this up to make it even easier for you to understand how the fundamentals and technicals line up with each component fundamentals in this summary now. All right. Now, so there's not much more for you to do. One of the key things is understand that where's direction coming from? Well, at the moment, it's geopolitics. And why that sort of makes the trading conditions a little bit cloudy is it's because these geopolitical events, they can happen randomly, right? There can be an announcement in 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 5 hours. You just don't know. And that's where the currencies are a bit jittery and the majors are trading sideways. So when you do come back to look at the major pairs, if I just swing this back across, you'll see that this is where we get that confusing technical outlook. What you are looking to do is generally line up the pairs with clear sentiment with the opportunity. So euro to me still sideways. Overall, I like it. I'm like it down because the US fundamentals are strong. Euro fundamentals are sort of generally weak. Sterling, Brexit, okay, way too hard to be calling at this stage. Aussie looks like it's found fair value, as has Kiwi. Now, when I say that, it means that the move from the yuan has already come into play. The currency's found what seems to be fair value for at the moment, and now it's going to trade sideways until we get the next major release. Obviously, the RBA is going to be the most important, and that's going to impact the Aussie and the Aussie crosses. Dollar yen, slowly trying to get going to the top side, but it just lacks that US dollar momentum. I think if Trump gets through on those US midterm elections, well, then we might see the dollar higher from here. Dollar Swiss, at the moment, it's just trading sideways on the hourlies, but on the dailies, it has broken higher. I still like it to the top side. And dollar CAD, well, it's between a rock and a hard place. Falling oil, mixed US fundamentals and a little bit of mixed Canadian fundamentals. Now, one of the key things I've noticed at the bows, I mean, the Aussie dollar's at 72 cents. It's rallied a couple of percent, and oil's off about 15%. It's funny that the price at the petrol bows hasn't changed. Now, the dollar index, over the long term, still going up, but at the moment, just drifting lower. To me, overall, sideways in the short term. But if I flick this over to the, let's come over here to the longer term daily charts, it gives you a bit more, removes the noise, right? You can start to see what's going on. So euro has been trading sideways and now sort of dipped. This is why I like the euro lower. Sterling sideways. Aussie was heading lower. It's now had a bit of a flush out of stops and it's a bit mixed. I think it overall goes down, but technically it's higher. Kiwi looks like this little break to the top side is a little bit stronger than the Aussie, and we may see that hold those levels. Dollar yen, well, overall daily it's heading higher. This is the Swiss has broken up higher here as well. So I like dollar yen and dollar Swiss to the top side. Dollar CAD, I'm sitting on the sidelines there, is sideways. And the US dollar index, well, overall, the trend is still higher, And whilst it remains above 96, you've got to think it's ready for a bounce, especially because the major pullback in the US dollar here has been on the back of sterling, right? Potential positive Brexit outcome. All right, guys, that's it from me. As I said, the only major release coming out is the Aussie RBA announcement. One that's going to be, as I said, I don't think there's anything in it. So don't sit at home and wait all day for that, because I don't think it's going to have much of an impact. One thing that you can keep an eye on, if I just come over here to the economic data page, there are some German industrial production numbers. If I can just get that to come up. So have a look at that. That's, the euro is reacting to some of the data. So euro industrial orders and a couple of PMI numbers there as well. So just keep an eye on these German numbers. They may give us a bit of a lead in, almost a better trading opportunity than the RBA for that matter. And then if you come back down through the rest of the data, and this is why our upcoming events are pretty sparse. Of course, the RBA, because it's a central bank announcement, is the major event. But there's nothing coming out in the US, so it's going to come down to those US midterm elections, and that's a geopolitical event. So make sure you are just aware of what's going on. The currencies lack momentum. That means you should be waiting for the next opportunity. All right, guys, that's it from me. If you have any questions about the new setup here, I think you're going to really enjoy the aspect of understanding why Aussie or these major currency pairs are going up and down with the new analysis summary. And of course, the major currency pair outlook. This gives you a quick snapshot of what we think, where these currencies are going. All right, guys, that's it from me. Have a good trade day. We'll see you in the trade zone. Cheerio.